Okay guys, so in the last video, you learned how to do a conjugate. Now we're going to use it. Okay? So far in your math career, you've definitely learned to add, subtract, and multiply complex numbers. The one thing you may not have been taught yet is how to divide with them, how to simplify them. So, that's our goal today. Divide complex numbers. Again, you can search it up. We already did this one in the last video. I don't know if you want to watch the video here or not. I'll leave that up to you, but I did assign this. I did assign this. And I did assign the article, the notes, which was pretty short. Okay? So that's what I'm hoping that you'll work on for the rest of this week. So, we're now going right here, guys. Right here. Here we go. Divide complex numbers. Okay, so divide complex numbers. So guys, here's the strategy. See the denominator right there? It says -2 minus I, right? And the problem with that fraction is, remember, I here is really the square root of -1, right? We defined it as so. Mathematicians actually made it up. It's one of the only things probably ever made up in mathematics. I is the square root of -1. So the problem is we have actually a square root that we're dividing or have in the denominator, and we do not like that, right? So here's the trick. We know that if we times by the conjugate, all I did was take -2. See the minus I here, guys? All I did was change the sign of the I. I'm going to times top and bottom by the conjugate. Now, you do hopefully understand that when I do this over this, it's really still 1. So I'm really timesing this by 1. So the values stay the same, even though the numbers change or look different, it's still the same value. But anyways, whether you understand that or not, the important thing is to remember this. I'm going to times by the conjugate, top and bottom. So, let's go ahead and do the top. I'll use area model here. We're going to do 1 plus 8i. That's what that is right there. We're going to times it with -2 plus I, which is the conjugate, right? Let's see here. -2 times 1 is -2. I times 1 is I. -2 times 8i is -16i. And I times 8i is 8i squared. Wait a minute. Didn't we learn that I squared is really a -1? So we have 8 times -1, which is -8. So far our answer looks like this. -2 and -8 is -10 minus 15i. Because -16 plus 1 is -15i. Now, let's do the denominator. And you're going to see why we do the conjugate. So I'm going to do the area model here. And I'm going to do right there -2 minus I. And then, of course, I'm going to do -2 plus I. It's conjugate across the top. Let's see what happens. Isn't -2 times -2 positive 4? Isn't I times -2 -2i? Isn't -2 times -2i positive 2i? And I times -I is -I squared. Wait a minute, isn't I squared really a -1? And a negative with a negative makes positive 1. So, notice what happened here, guys, is the i's go away. That's what the conjugate does. When you multiply with a conjugate, guys, you get rid of your i's. The only thing left, I hope you notice, is a 4 plus a 1, which is 5. So here's our answer. But guys, look carefully. We learned about this with rational expressions. Can everyone see how 10 and 15 divide by 5? So I'm going to distribute that 5. So negative 10 divided by 5 is negative 2. Negative 15i divided by 5 is negative 3i. Woo! Now what you'll find, guys, is with Mr. Khan, it always should divide right in here and simplify nicely. Most real problems like this don't always do that, as you'll find out. But with Mr. Khan, if you don't get something where you can distribute at the end and get one nice complex number like that, then you probably did something wrong. Just thought I'd give you a little heads up on that. But you'll see as we do a couple more of these, they all simplify nicely. And by the way, guys, use a calculator because Mr. Khan does give you bigger numbers. So use a calculator to help you. All right, let's look at this one. Does everyone agree? We're going to times by negative 3 plus I. This is the conjugate of that. Negative 3, all I'm doing is changing the sign of the I. So let's do the numerator first. We got 2 minus 16i. We got negative 3 plus I, the conjugate, right? Let's see what happens. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. I times 2 is 2i. Negative 3 times, see, that's a bigger number. Negative 16 is positive 48i. Again, you would use your calculator to figure that out. Okay, guys? And finally, I times negative 16. I is negative 16i squared. Wait a minute. The I squared is negative 1. So we get positive 16. So we have a negative 6 with a 16 is 10. We have 48 and 2i is 50i. Let's see what this denominator is going to be like. I'm going to do the area model right here. Negative 3 minus I times its conjugate. Negative 3 plus I. Let's see what happens. Negative 3 times negative 3 is 9. I times negative 3 is negative 3i. Negative 3i times negative I is positive 3i. And I times negative I is negative I squared, which becomes a positive 1. I squared is negative 1, and negative of a negative is a positive. So, guys, notice what I got. 9 plus 1 is 10. The i's cancel out. That, again, is what the conjugate does. So, if you look at our answer, guys, see how I can distribute this 10 or divide the 10 into the 10 and 50. So 10 divided by 10 is 1. 50i divided by the 10 is plus 5i. This is the answer you'd want to type in there. Okay, guys, let's try at least one more, right? We need the conjugate of this, so we're going to do negative 4 plus 3i. Negative 4 plus 3i. Let's see what the numerator does. Setting up our area model here. We're going to do negative 6 plus 8i, right? Times negative 4 plus 3i. So negative 4 times negative 6 is positive 24. Watch your signs. 3i times negative 6, negative 18i. Negative 4 times 8, negative 32i. 3i times 8i, 24i squared, but with I squared negative 1, that's negative 24. Oh, look what happened this time, guys. 24 minus 24 is 0. The only thing we have is a negative 50i. Okay, let's see what the numerator does. Or denominator. Sorry, misspoke there. So negative 4 minus 3i times its conjugate, negative 4 plus 3i. Negative 4 times negative 4 is 16. Negative 4 times 3i, 12i. Oh, negative 12i. Almost messed up myself. Negative 4 times negative 3i, positive 12i. 3i times minus 3i, minus 9i squared. Wait a minute, I squared's negative 1. With a negative 9 times together, that's positive 9. Plus 9 right there. So guys, notice this time my answer is 25. And notice how the i's cancel out. Guys, can I divide 50 by 25? Yes. This reduces to negative 2i. Watch your signs. Boom. And we have it done. So guys, maybe if you want, I could do another video with some more examples on it. But I think this is a good place to stop so the video's not too long. The key thing is hopefully you now know how to do a conjugate. Just change the sign of the I number, or the complex number part, right? And when you multiply any complex number with its conjugate, the i's go away every time. Don't forget, I squared is also negative 1. You got to use that when you're simplifying the work. Okay? But I hope this video helps you and it makes sense. I need you to try it in Khan Academy, guys. See you around.